Right, stamp soup. I haven't got the packaging that goes with stamps, and I haven't got the stamps that goes with the packaging that I've got. So we'll kind of work with this one so that you know what I'm doing. Sorry, guys. Let's just erase the last 10 minutes, shall we? Maybe I need a drink. Okay. I've just knocked my camera out of the way with everything. Right. Okay. Let's get cracking. So, Stamp Soup was basically born in 2015. I kind of thought of this whole idea in 2015. It's been lots of people have tried to copy this. You know, they maybe have their own versions and things. But basically, what my idea was to try and help everyone be a little bit more creative, because you know, kind of as an artist, I kind of look at things differently to a lot of other crafters. So, you know, I'm not a trained artist in any way, shape, or form, but I've kind of worked in studios and things like that, and we tend to work in different ways. Hello to everyone that's just jumped on. And again, just to remind everyone, there is a giveaway, which is a set of dies. So if you want to be in the giveaway, just comment win. I meant to actually type it in the comments. So just enter win, and also if you use code Sunday20 today until Tuesday actually, so you've got 48 hours to use it, you'll get 20% off your orders, and that includes clearance. So stamp soup, basically, when you get this, let me see if there's a set that aren't used. These are all mine. I think the issue is I never got to do much in the show, and I went and put it all back into the stock box. Oh, right, you'll have to, right, okay, this one isn't very used. This is a bit easier to see. Look, I've got a spare stamp there. So basically what happens is that you get a set of stamps that are all these kind of random shapes, and you can kind of see where you're going with it, and what they're going to do, but they basically, it's all about building shapes and things. So this is the very, very first set that I came up with, which was called Lavender Tea. And I have to say, Lavender Tea and Lemonade Fizz, which were the first two, so there's always, these always come in pairs, so that I can give you one set that works with the other, and it kind of expands it even more for you. So this is Lavender Tea. The Lemonade Fizz, I know we have a few still in stock. Those two, because they were the first ones, they kind of are, I can't say they're my favourites, but they're in the top favourites from the whole collection. So you can see here, you know, some of these are quite obvious. So these are petals, but equally these can be leaves, and it's all about getting you to look at the shapes differently. So basically, you know, this could also be a tree, or there's lots of other things that it can be as well. So, you know, if it's upside down, I think Jane from the design team, she always used this as like a little fairy skirt, and kind of like, you know, put fairies on it and things. You've got wings, so these are petals, but the leaves, but they can also be butterfly wings. So you get the idea. So basically, it's all about you opening up your creativity, you know, just kind of open your mind and have, you know, just, you've got to play with it to kind of really understand, or not understand, but to really get the best out of it, get the most out of it, because playing is the way that, you know, we kind of explore and we get more creative and everything. Right, let me see if I can just zoom in a bit more on there. That's a bit better. Okay. So let's get started, shall we? So each set is basically different. So on this one, and on each one, I always give you some ideas of what you can actually make with these. So this one is called Time to Get Funky. So you've got a clock in here, okay? And you actually do have the word time. The hands are separate, so you can see how much I've used this one. This was before I had my spongy to clean my stamps. But you can use the clock hands separately. so you can set them wherever you want. And then also the clock hands can just be like little arrows, and you can make frames with those. So every single stamp has more than one purpose. So if it looks like a butterfly, it can also be something else, because as I'm designing them, I deconstruct everything, and then, you know, it kind of goes back. So here we've got circling around. This has been a real favourite. This is a good one. So here you've got, like, you can create toadstool. On all of these you can create toadstools, because toadstools are our favourite thing. Mary, you've had that set of stamps for ages and never used it. Oh my goodness. Wow. Girl, that's terrible. You've got a little bird in this one. So there's lots of different things. This one here, this is really cool. I might actually just pick some of my favourite stamps out of the sets and we'll use those. Not so simple. We didn't have this on Hobby Maker, but we have a little tiny bit of stock left in the store, so you can grab this one. This is cool. So you've got lots of things. I mean, I've put on here loads of buildings, and it's because, oh look, I've got two sets. It's because you've got some sort of more architectural bits in here. So you've kind of got little funky squares and all this, a little kind of moon that can be all sorts of different things. So you get the picture. You know, it's pretty self-explanatory, really. We've got In a Frenzy, again, lots and lots of flowers, toadstools again, that same one. Let me see, how many have we got? I don't know. There's a couple that this is one of my favourites. So this one is Garden Glory, and and I know we've only got a couple of this one. And we've also got Surprise. If any of you ever see that great big piece of art that I have hanging around, usually it's everywhere, it's not here today, but you can actually create this vase on this one. But again, I know there's only about 2 of that left. Mary, the first one, Lavender Tea. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. Right, okay, let's get going then. So I'm having to, by default, I'm having to use this one. I wanted to use Little Kingdom because that's one of my favourites too. So Lavender Tea. Let me just check that's not it. I found the packaging. Oh, so much for being organised, Nikki. All my stamps are coming off. Okay. So Lavender Tea, I haven't given you tons of inspiration on this one, but I think there was like a little leaflet in there. I think I've lost mine, I'm not sure. Don't know if we still do that or not, I can't remember. But gorgeous, gorgeous florals. Okay, so let's get going. So I don't really want you to use your stamping platform for this. I think it's easier to just use your acrylic blocks. Okay, so I'm going to, let me see. I'm going to use this fine clay. And the first thing you need to do is you just need to get your stamps and you just need to ink them up and get moving with it, okay? So basically, I'm going to make loads of shapes on here. Might not actually make something today. So this is going to be the most gorgeous flower. And the only restrictions on this is your imagination, okay? Because it's what you see and there's no right or wrong. You just literally have to stamp it and see what happens. How pretty is that? And then this now will also make, let's go here, and then I'm going to, so still on one stamp, same stamp, so we'll go here. Oh, where's my sponge gone? I'm going to use my spongy for this because I want to clean my stamps as I go. So I'm just going to have my spongy at the side, and then what I do with my spongy is I just literally wipe it like that as I'm stamping, and it just means that my stamps are just clean and dry instantly. So I'm going to get in a mess. I haven't got my ink holder. I wish I did. So, the other thing, let me see. God, I need to take my glasses off. Do you know, I wonder why I couldn't see very well. It's because I've got my glasses on. So then what you can do is you can start to play around and kind of see, like here, we're going to make a butterfly. So we need to have some wings for the butterfly. So let's see, there's a little one, look. So that one there, that'd be a nice one. And that's the great thing about them being clear, is that you can just actually test it whilst it's still on the acetate as well. So look, we can just stamp into the middle of there. And I've also given you, you've got all these kind of separate little bits and pieces. All these like little swirls and things like that. So look now. You can create a little butterfly as well. And it's just unique. It's unique to you. It's like you being an artist without having to draw. So I've kind of given you all the basics. And, you know, you don't have to draw it because I've already done it for you. So you've even got a little sentiment in there as well, which is really cute. Now, these are some of my favourites. So I need a bigger block. If I can find one. Go with me. Okay, so this one, I kind of designed this so this is a stem, but it doesn't have to be a stem. It can be a frame as well. So look, we could, if we wanted to, this is so nice when you do this. So if you're really into journaling or anything like that, planners, you know, or even you just want to make something like a nice creative card, this really reminds me of like an Art Deco kind of look. I think this is so pretty. I love doing this with these stamps. I just love stamp soup. I think it's just fab. I think it is so cute. So how nice is that? And then look, I wasn't going to do this, but this is what happens. When you open these, you start to get creative with it because you can't help yourself, because it just kind of, it just is. You just have to get creative. There's a little circle in here. So look, we've only used 1, 2, 3, 4 stamps. So look, you can even here, look, we can, and don't worry, like where I've missed there, don't worry. It's very forgiving because these are really sketchy stamps. So you can overstamp this. It doesn't matter if you miss a bit. Just fill in the gaps. And every time you create with these, I swear to you, you will create something new. Because, you know, you can't remember. There's so many. It's just like infinite options. And you'll just keep creating with them. You won't be able to stop. So, right, let's turn that round. So let's come back to this. So what looked like a simple stem is not a simple stem at all. I'm going to go over here. I want to maybe see if I can actually make something with this. So, oh, just got my acetate in my ink. Right, I like these ones. So these stamps, these flowers. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this a little bit high. Get my other one. And then there's all these like little swirls and curly bits and things. And these are designed to work and change these bits. Oops, sorry. Do you know, I've changed my desk around and I'm just as bad as ever. So now look, we can come in here and we can add these bits. And so you've now got this gorgeous, gorgeous decoration, really, isn't it? You know, you could, if you wanted to, you can come and add more. You know, it's up to you how many of these you want to do. You know, you can make this really quite curly. You know, you can, it's up to you. It's up to you. Bit over the top, maybe, you know, but this is part of the thing of playing, is that you have to sort of go, okay, well, I've gone too far then. I prefer it when it's just kind of, you know, on its own, and that's perfectly okay as well. But look what happens if we kind of go like this. So now you can either get yourself just a fine liner pen, and now we can just kind of go, oh, okay. And you can start to actually create your own little bits and pieces. Or if you want to, we can get the other thingy bits, the straight bits. Having difficulty speaking. So if you, because you kind of look at that and think, you can tell it's been drawn in, it doesn't look like it's part of it. But as soon as you start to kind of add some extra bits, it starts to pull it all together. This is almost one of those things where more is more, not less is more, to an extent. Don't go too mad. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's up to you. You can create whatever you want to create. So we've got there's a smaller one of these stamps. So let's just clean that one off. I'm trying to be clean and tidy. So I've got a smaller one, which is slightly different. And again, look, we can make these fit now. And then that one, look, that can go there. So where these bits kind of you thought, not so sure, we start getting into something that's, you know, a lot more kind of decorative. And it's about the building. It comes together once it actually starts to build up. So what else have we got? And remember, this is just one stamp set, okay? So look, we've got this lovely, I'm a big fan of circles. So look, you can make them all different. And then these are like little seed pods. I've got, oh, do you know, guys, I might have made a mistake. We found a random poppy in the garden. You know, we like moved not that long ago. And so, you know, we're still kind of, we never had a garden before, so we're sort of, you know, amateur gardeners. Well, Chris does the lawn, I do everything else. So, you know, in terms of plants and things. And anyway, so he found this gorgeous, gorgeous, like double-headed poppy. And anyway, we looked it up and we found it was just growing, you know, as they do, randomly. So anyway, we found out what it was. And so I bought some seeds. And I was it was a windy day. And so basically I've planted 500 poppies all over. Oh my God. Honestly, I started to sprinkle them and then I thought, this is a lot of poppies. And it didn't really cross my mind at that point how much they self-seed. And anyway, so we'll see what happens next year. And on top of that, I'd already planted some blue Himalayan poppies anyway, which are gorgeous, which have come out. So I'm kind of like, wow, okay, I think it might be Poppy Fest next year. Anyway, So that's kind of, you know, where we're going with that one. So that's lavender tea. Just to, let's go on the back of that one. So this is, oh my goodness, which one should we use next? What have we got? I want to show you this one because this one's quite cool for now. So this is circling around. I've got stamps everywhere. That don't even belong in here. Now, the other thing that I would say is, if you're going to use stamp soup, what I would really, really recommend, big time, is to get our masking paper. I had it here a minute ago. Where's it gone? Don't know where it's gone. Bear with me. It was in here somewhere. Well, I'll blow me down with a feather. Oh, there it is. So, yeah, grab some masking paper, because what you will be able to do with this then is create all your masks. Now, I've just done mine onto post-it notes because it was before I had my masking sheets. In fact, that isn't even a masking sheet. I'm holding a piece of scrap. Oh, it's going to be one of them days. I've put it somewhere earlier. This is what happens when you tidy your desk. You don't know where anything is, do you? Anyway, so basically, with the masking paper, you're going to get four A5 sheets. And this is like self-adhesive. So you can just peel the back off. And it's reusable then. But this is just like a lifesaver. Just have it so that you've got it on hand. I didn't do a massive pack because it goes such a long way. And then you can see these are as old as the hills. I've had these years, these masks, and this is just with post-it notes. But the problem is with the post-it note ones, they are only sticky on part of it. So like they're only sticky on this bit here, whereas on the masking paper the whole thing sticks. So then you can mask it as well, which actually then opens up your possibilities with stamp soup even more. So let's try circling around. So we've got to do this one, haven't we? Okay. So shall we make like a little scene? Let me just trim this off. Where did I put my paper trimmer? Oh, there. Honestly, I'm on a mission to... Let's make a little scene. As if we were doing like an actual card. I don't like it when we don't make something. So let's take this one, and we'll go. That's me not inking that very well. See what I mean? Doesn't matter that I didn't stamp that very well. It's fine. Okay, this time I am cleaning my stamps. Now, in this set, you've got all sorts of really cool little bits and pieces. So we've got like a little jagged kind of squirrely zigzag. That could be our stalk. You've got, what else have we got here? Oh, I love this one. I love this. Love this stamp. This one, so nice. It's a little bit like the other one. So look, if we start to build this up now, we've got other like little jiggly things. And that one we can go up there like that. This is usually, I'm being very clean today, this is usually where I get absolutely filthy with stamp soup, because I tend to just take the stamps off and not think about what I'm doing. Here's another awesome one. Love this. We'll put this one, let's see. Okay. I kind of remember odd numbers work really well. So 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay, so that's a bit too big maybe. We're going to have one of them over there coming out. I've actually lost one of my stamps off this sheet, and I haven't got another. I don't think I've got another set of this, but anyway, it'd be fine. So I've got another different little swirly thing. But the reason I like these is that these all build up, look. So here we can, and you can actually do a double to create a thicker stem if you wanted to. It is like magic. How it is quick, isn't it? You kind of think it's not, but it really is. Right, okay. So this is nice because I randomly put this in. So this is actually some pre-done leaves for you. Okay, so look, let's put some leaves down here. So we've got a bit of foliage going on. And let me see. Yeah, I want one here. I'm going to put one there. And do you know what? Having the spongy, this is the first time I've done this with the spongy, where I can just, like I said, clean them. Because normally, like, look, I'm clean. Well, apart from that bit there. Normally, I'm taking the stamps on and off really fast. And then, because you kind of get into it. And then I'm filthy. So look, this one can be two things. So I'm going to put that in there just to show you. So look, we've got now we've also got a little funky thing here, which can be lots of things, but it works really well as a little bird's beak. So now all I need to do is put a little eye in. Oh, do you know, I'm so bad. I've lost some of my stamps here. There's actually one that is meant to be the bird's wing. But anyway, just to prove, look, we've still got a bird's wing. And let's put that in as a little stamp there. And anything where you've not got a stem for, look, all you've got to do is just draw one like that. So, you know, it's nothing serious. It's nothing like too difficult for anyone. There's, oh, look, there's this little heart thing here, look. So, look, we can, oh, how cute is that? Don't think I've ever used that stamp before. Oh, I really like this. And then we've got like little random ones, just like, because you need little tiny ones as well. And look, we can fill that in. And we can add extras over here. Oops. You know, it's up to you what you want to do. Put one in there if you want to. Completely up to you what you do with these. Right, okay. Was there anything from here? You see, we do actually have, I want a little butterfly. I want some butterflies. There we go. Okay. I want a butterfly. So let's have a little butterfly. Just trying to think how it's going to work. Yeah, I'm not going to use that one. Let's go with this one. And you can tell I'm getting in it because I've gone quiet now. And then we've got this one, look. And that makes your butterfly. Can't keep my hands clean at all. I know, but the spongy does help. I mean, look, I'm getting there. That's really, really clean for me. It really, if you haven't got one of these, honestly, guys, you do need one because I mean, you know, it's just all I do every time, just before I start crafting, every time I just wet all my cloths, and I mean I've got a couple of these, so you know, look, I just have it here, and they're all. I've just gone and wet them all. I've got a clean one, well, fairly clean one there that I can then just. I can try and keep one clean. I have one that's really inky. Obviously, for me, you know, I'm on telly and stuff, so I don't like taking the really filthy ones off. But this is like my really inky one. This is my mucky one, you know, that's got paste on it and glue and all sorts. You can tell here, look, I've abused this one. It's got. That's one thing I would say. If you use it to wipe up any kind of glue or your stencil paste, make sure you do rinse it out. Because it will go hard on the sponge. When the sponge hardens, the paste will harden as well. So it just is a lifesaver for me. It really is. It's the best thing I've ever got on my mat, to be quite honest. Right, I think with that, look, what I'm going to do, this is why you need more than one set of these, though, because you kind of need all these like little fronds. I've got a thing about stuff like this. Oh, he looks like he's eating him now, but never mind. You know, but you can just stamp off the page. This is like a really nice little filler. And I don't want to do any more because I'll end up ruining it. Okay, so shall we get some colour on this? We might actually get something made. So I'm going to grab here. What have I got to hand? I'm just going to use whatever I've got to hand. And actually, I've got something else I want to show you today. I think I've got them. Honestly, Nikky. Okay. Oh, here we are. Okay, so I want to use, we've had this stencil for quite a long time, and it's called, it's the Bird Tweet Branches, and it is so cute. Now, this is going to look really nice, like as a bit of a background, so just kind of like subtle. So I'm going to use, before we actually get any sort of other colour on, basically. So I'm going to use my small detail brush, and I'm not worried about having pattern really. I just kind of want to have something in the background just to fill it so that I don't need to do a lot. So I'm just using salvage patina. So that's actually come out really nice. Can you see that? Look how it's just a slight hint of a branch in there. So it's kind of like a slight hint at foliage. Now, what I'm going to do with that, I really like that effect. So what I'm going to do, now I've got to be careful here because this is a brand new ink. I don't want it too dark. I'm going to go back over that. I'm going to flip it so that I know I'm not going to get the same bit of pattern. And I'm just going to very, very lightly really, I'm not as bothered about the birds. I just want to get like some of that foliage in there. Could have hours of fun. Yeah, absolutely. I'm off the camera again. Yeah, absolutely you could. Right, okay, so let's see how we're going to colour these. I think we'll just go watercolour, shall we? I've got, purely because that's all I've got to hand. So I'm going to go inks and watercolour now. I'm going to do my leaves first. Let me grab a paintbrush. I don't know where all my water brushes have gone, you know. I must find them. Okay, so we've got leaves here. See if you can. I think it's better that way. Sorry. So look, this is literally all I'm going to do. Is just dab a bit of colour in anywhere where you've kind of got a hint of a stem. Like there. Just there. You know, it's up to you. Spend a lot more time, obviously, than I am doing. I'm going to get these off my desk. Let's have a bit of orange. So I think we'll have, so I'm using my oxides, and this is what I love about this whole system, is that it makes you look like you're an artist, whether you are or you aren't, regardless of whether you've been card making for 20 years or for 2 months. You know, this enables you to create this sort of mixed media kind of look very, very easily. So where's my hidden? Colour those in. Just add some little bits. I'm going to add just a little bit of pink in there. Over here somewhere I've got a red. I really should get more creative with the colours I use in my oxides. Well, in my distress inks altogether. I always use the same 6 colours. So we can, let's just mix these. Pink in there. And once you start to add the colour, it takes the focus away from the actual thing that you, it takes the focus away from the lines, rather than, so that you're focusing on the picture rather than on the lines, which is why they're so forgiving. So look, let's get some lilac in here. And it is a bit messy, but it's fine. Let's get some yellow. This is what I don't like. It goes so far that you end up wasting a lot, and I can't stand it. So a bit of yellow on there. Let's put a bit of yellow in here. Let's just add some hints. One thing I do like to do when I'm colouring is, if when you're doing greens, just randomly go over some areas of your green with a yellow, and it just kind of, it's an easy way to change that up a bit. So what I'm going to do now, if First of all, I'm going to wipe this out of the way, which is such... I hate this. This is so wasteful. But anyway. And that's why you need your spongy. Look, that's why you need it. Dry. Honestly, if you're not sold yet on spongy, I don't know what else I can kind of do, because it's just so cool. So I'm going to put a little bit of blue in here. And then we're going to go in with a little bit of green. Ooh, a little bit. I keep forgetting this is a new ink pad. Oops. And then I'm going to come back in at the top. Where's my stencil gone? Right, now I've kind of got all my things in place. I can decide now if I want to put any extra bits of this in, and I do. So I'm going to come back in. Let's make it a little bit more intense. And any areas down, like down here, down at the bottom where there's sort of like gaps, you see, like down there, just add a little bit of texture in there. Just random. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just about breaking it up. You know, and there's no reason why you can't have little birds in there. Let's have one over there. Just flip one there. Like little shadows. See what I mean? Like these little shadow birdies in there. It just makes it look really cute. So I think just one other little thing I'm going to do, just to make this stand out a little bit more. I'm going to get rid of all this. Right, I am going to grab a marker and okay, right, first of all I want to create a frame for it. Okay, so don't try and create a straight one unless you really want to. That's when you go wrong, so create a wavy one instead. Okay, and then I'm just gonna flip this. Oh, excuse me, that's my stomach. Wow, an hour already, crikey. Well, at least we got to make something today. I do find that a Sharpie is the best thing for edging like this. And it just kind of really makes that pop. So, and then I'm going to just grab a bit of black card. I don't think I've got... I even sorted out my scrap. Look, how good's this? Look, I actually sorted out my scrap. I don't think... In fact, I know I haven't got a piece big enough for that. It's sick having scrap bits everywhere. Oh. So, because look, that's not big enough. That has to go in the scrap box now. I wonder how long that will be tidy for. Right, okay. Hope that's the right size. It moved as I did it. Okay. So let's glue this down a bit. So I just used the back of what we were doing randomly before. Now I do want to just do something else to this. I wasn't going to, but I think I will. Just because we can, and it'll just lift it. Okay. So where's those stamps gone? Grab a little bit more scrap. Okay, so I'm going to come back to this. You know, I said this was I love this stamp. Oops. But you see, look, it doesn't matter that I missed that and overstamped it twice. It doesn't matter because it's hand drawn. It's supposed to look like that. At least that's what we're going to say. And nobody who knows. Nobody else knows that isn't how that's meant to be. We get so hung up on mistakes and not being good enough with things. It's ridiculous. So, oh look, my sponge is ready to be cleaned. It keeps depositing ink everywhere. So we coloured those in orange before, so let's do that again. A little splash. And I am going to just, I want to add a bit of, let's add a bit of abandoned coral. Wow. Just to make these pop a little bit more. Gosh, that's such a nice colour in it. Do you know what? I think I need to have, I feel like I need to have some of that on here. Look, let's put it on the butterfly wings. And maybe a little bit in here. No, right, stop fiddling. Okay, so all I'm going to do now, let's just cut these out. So have you all been entering win, writing win in the comments? I haven't been checking. Sorry, I'm not reading the comments. I'm trying not to, so I concentrate. So enter win, and don't forget that if you use code Sunday20, you will get 20% off your order until Tuesday. And we've got some amazing clearance bargains from the last Hobby Maker show. So if it was me, I'd be stocking up. We've got lots of new things coming soon. I can't wait. We've had a bit of a delay on production. So they, oh, that's the other thing I want to do as well. I'm going to add some texture onto this as well. Just to make it pop a little bit more. And then I'm going to be done. So I will post this onto Instagram, onto YouTube. So if anybody wants to go back over it, you'll be able to do that. So before I go any further, okay. My Roma stencils have gone. Everything's just vanished on me. So this is, I'm going to use here our Wildflower Meadow stencil, which is just gorgeous. So again, I would just want it in the background a little bit. It's even got little butterflies in here. This is going to look so nice. So what I'm going to do, ooh, I've got here all my new stencil butter frostings. So have we done these? Have we done these on a live? I don't know. I can't remember. Oh, I've lost one. Don't know where that's gone. Weird. So these are just yummy. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So these are basically your texture pastes. But these are so thick and textury. They look, I can hold these upside down and they don't even come out. So absolutely lush. These are on a special at the minute for the whole collection. Where's my thing gone? My spatula. I've definitely got stuff missing here. I'm never tidying up again. I don't know where everything is. There must be a whole box somewhere that I haven't unpacked. So we've, oh yeah, because we used them on the MDF. So we've got opal frost, sugar pink, gloss white, clear, mermaid mist. I'm going to use mermaid mist because it's a bit bluey. Actually, it's a bit lilac-y, I lie. So look how thick these are. Look, just doesn't come. They just don't go anywhere. So I want to just add some little bits. Now, I don't know about you, but I kind of think if I'm going to use texture paste, I want it to be visible. So I like really layer mine up. I want it thick. So that's what I'm doing. So I kind of spread it in. And then what I do is when I remove, instead of like scraping it all in so it's really flat, I actually lift the stencil and then clean it off the stencil. So I have a lot left on that stencil, but it will all get cleaned off in the end. So I just want another little bit there. Oops. These have been so popular so far. We've only had them in a month and we've already had to reorder. Okay, so let me just, I can't bear to waste this, so I'm going to have to just scrape this off. So you can see, look how much I'm getting back off there. Now, like I say, if I'm going to use my spongy here, it's very warm in here, it's drying already. I will go, as soon as we're done, I'll go and actually clean my spongy. Because when it's anything like this, it tends to sit on the top of the spongy. Because it's not a liquid, it doesn't absorb it as readily. So you need to go and, like my stencil's clean-ish, but go, in fact it is clean. So, but I will go and clean this out and I won't use it on anything else now. I'll just put that to a side, and that, because that's basically, it's a glue. You know, your stencil paste is a glue. So, you know, you don't want to, but look. Let's get this into place. So I'm just going to add a bit of glue on there. And let's just make that have a little bit of dimension. And I'm putting my fingers in everything, of course. You knew I was going to do that, didn't you? I'm going to do 2 layers on one of them. And this is a really good way to decoupage without using foam pads, so it's still really flat when it goes in the post. And look what I can do now. So this is what I love about this particular stamp. So if I just move this now, there, look, I can make a bigger flower. How cool is that? And they literally look like they're on fire, those flowers. So I'm not going to do any more to this. Oops, there we go. Look at that yummy texture. Look at the texture. Can you see that? It really makes it pop. And it's just a hint of. You don't have to go over the top. You know, it's a hint. So, you know, don't go too mad. And then look how much text, how much dimension I've got with that flower now. Just, I mean, obviously it's going to flatten down if you're posting this. But you know, why not create like a little shadow box for it to go in, a shadow envelope for it to go in, and you know, do something like that. And it just, all it needs now is, I would put a little bit of a sentiment on there. I'd find a sentiment. I haven't got one to hand, but I would definitely put a little, just a word on there, maybe like tweet or something like that. You know, just to finish it. But that's just me. You don't have to, obviously. I know not everybody wants to. Right, okay, that's me done. Let me show you from there. You might be able to see it a little bit better. I think this camera's a little bit better. Ooh. Can you see? Oh, that way. I'm all upside down. There we go. Okay. So, who has won today? Who's won? Right, gosh, lots of you are here today. Wow. Okay, I'm going to pick a winner. So, let's see. Oh, we've got lots of regulars, lots of new names today. Hello. Oh, we've got Sid. Hello, I haven't spoken to you for a long time. Julie, Christine, Maxine, you are more than welcome. Okay, who is going to win? I think it has to be Vanessa Robinson. So, Vanessa, you're going to win our... Oh, I never got to use them, did I? You're going to win the squarey swirly hearts. I can never remember the name of it. The squarey swirly heart die set. So this is will be on its way to you. Can you email me website at polkadoodles.co.uk to claim that, and I'll get that in the post for you. Well done. So any questions or anything? Like I said, don't forget Sunday 20 for 20% off your order until Tuesday, which is huge. And like I said, there are lots and lots of clearance things, including a lot of Winnie's in there. I wanted to use Winnie today. And do you know what's on clearance? Only all the best-selling ones. All the top favourites. You might have some of these already. But all these Winnies, this was what I didn't get to do on Hobby Maker. All these Winnies on clearance. So just basically, we need to make room. We've had these for a while now, and it's just time that we clear to make room for new things coming. So head over to the website, everyone. And so it's polkadoodles.com or polkadoodles.co.uk. If you want to check, like I said before, if you want to check what is on clearance, there's a section under new that's Hobby Maker the 10th of August, and all the new clearance bundles, because they're all in specific bundles with the stencils, dies, stamps, papers in there. Head in there under the Hobby Maker 10th of August, and you'll find everything that we had on clearance on Hobby Maker last week. And I'm talking about like these stamp soup. These will buy one get one free, and then you're going to get 20% off. So, and I haven't got all of these here. So, you need to go and fill your boots with those whilst those offers are still on, because they won't last forever. Yeah. I will see you next week. See you next Sunday. I'll be back again. I think next Sunday it's time we did a bit of colouring, don't you? Shall we do a bit of Winnie colouring or something? I don't know. I better not say, because it depends what I end up doing on the day. Right, okay. Anyway, I will love you and leave you. Thank you so much for joining me. I want to keep to an hour today because I'm just conscious that we always drag on a bit. Get stamp souping. I'll post this online so you can actually see a close-up of it as well. if anybody wants to actually make that. And I'll see you next Sunday. Okay, see you later. Bye.